Toastmaster Lou Beaton. Social media coordinator of District 7. Just for Larks, our comedian, David Marks. He is becoming popular to do some comedy skits in clubs and so on. And an author of Gabriela Schlossakova.
Yeah,
Schlossakova.
That's easy for you to say.
Distinguished Toastmaster Schlossakova. The Vice President of the Saints. Very active in Toastmaster. Wow. An actor, performer, director, writer, passionate about theater and film. I will ask a question, and then maybe I can call on someone, one each. What motivated you to join Toastmasters, and how that experience met or exceeded your expectations?
I think it was partially related to the acting I've been doing. I wanted to be able to improvise. So those moments when you might have a blank on stage and that sort of thing, and if you can learn to improvise, you should be able to get out of those sort of situations. And what I think that Toastmasters teaches you is that drama and Toastmasters speeches have a story to tell, which is what I sort of learned. And if you're on stage, a drama, a play tells a story. So if you get lost, you could ask yourself, what stage is this story up to? What comes next? And so that's an area I think that Toastmasters can help. And just generally, I'm a fairly shy sort of person, and I think I wanted to be a bit more spontaneous and outgoing, which I think is a motivation that quite a lot of people come to Toastmasters for.
Thank you, Darren. Gabby, how has Toastmaster benefited you?
It has benefited me in an unexpected way. I think when I joined Toastmasters first, my expectation was to improve my public speaking and my presentation skills, which it has. But the most benefit I feel that I have got in giving evaluation, giving feedback to people. I did not know that there is an art into giving feedback, and I gave feedback before. I just said whatever I needed to say, and it was very direct. Having said that, I think I have nuanced the art of evaluation and giving feedback and improved. So that was very unexpected for me, and I think it helped me a lot in the workplace and also among friends, I'm sure.
Thank you. So now it's time for Lou. Is Toastmasters still relevant, and why?
Relevant to me or to everyone?
To everyone,
To
to anyone.
Absolutely. I think communication will never go out of style. You use it in your families, your friendships, right here now. If we didn't communicate with each other, I've been trying to make our friend here feel very welcome tonight, because that's part of communicating. He's brand new. There's other people here that are brand new, and it's important to communicate what Toastmasters is and what we can do for people. But I think it's the secret to harmony in life is to be able to communicate well, and Gabby gave a great example. I remember one day my kid said to me, "Mum, you're giving us feedback like a Toastmaster again." And I said, "Well, do you want me to be direct? Because I can be."
Just tell them about an area for improvement.
Yeah, I did several. Yeah, it's going to be relevant forever, because we have to communicate. We're not silos. And I think one of the things that Toastmasters did really well, 85% of our clubs went online. When COVID hit and the rest of the world shut down, our world actually got bigger, and we could go to clubs all around the world. And I think that's when I understood how international we are and how important communication is to everyone. Everyone in the world is in the same boat. We're all trying to get our message across and to get on with each other. So I think it's probably more important than ever. And I think in jobs in particular, what we do in tabletop is we make people shine in job interviews. And I've known countless people in my nearly 21 years who've changed careers because of Toastmasters, because they learned to communicate better, speak up for themselves in the workplace. And when you speak well, Zig Ziglar said this: people always think you're more intelligent and you're a leader. because you're able to express yourself. So no, for me it's never ever going to be irrelevant.
And for Mike, what challenges have you faced in your Toastmasters journey, and how did you overcome them?
Oh, I had no challenges. Easy, I killed it. First week I was here, I won a prize. Free sausage roll or something in the car. No, thank you for the question, Rebecca. For our guests, I was referred to Toastmasters 26 years ago because I had a car accident and my doctor said go to Toastmasters in my recovery. Best thing that ever happened to me, thanks to my doc. Toastmasters made me focus and get back to normality. I'm just a normal Toastmaster. Nothing excessive about me. But I excelled in my recovery in 6 months, and I've been a Toastmaster ever since. I wouldn't think of not being a Toastmaster. Challenges, your question. All sorts of challenges. All the points that were mentioned already, even by Lou, the last one, it's all relevant to my Toastmasters too. The challenges in my state was immense, overcame them because of the Toastmaster structure and the support of Toastmasters around me. I do that support these days, but I was given 26 years ago. I'll say one thing, although it's 10 minutes. Interviews. I went to a corporate organization in Australia. I won't mention the name. A division. Went for a job. I drove the interview. Got the job actually on the spot. Because I had not special skills, but Toastmaster awareness. I implemented it. And I drove that interview. I left the place with a smirk on my face. I said, what was that? I came up with the questions virtually. I remember that interview so well. Why? Toastmasters. I was just a little guy younger than these two gentlemen who interviewed me. Those days, by the way, there was no panel of 17 and what happens today? I wouldn't get a job today. But I'm so overwhelmed with what Toastmasters has done for me because of the challenges we all get in our learning experience. Rebecca?
Thank you, Mike. I will give these remarks from other people, and then anyone can answer whatever. How would you answer the following remarks? Okay, the first. I don't really need it. Anyone?
I think I will answer this. How do you know that you don't need it if you haven't tried it, right? You don't know what you don't have. When your world is so small, you don't know what's behind it. It's like with knowledge. More is your knowledge, more you know that you don't know. So if you haven't even tried, then how do you know that you don't need it? Only if you actually try, then you will see whether you need it or not. And to everybody's actually point, I think once people start practicing, speaking, giving feedback, then they will actually see the benefits. So it's easy to say, I don't need it, when you haven't actually even tried it at all. That would
Okay, another one before I open the floor for some questions. Where will I use the skills?
Everywhere. Everywhere. And some of the panelists already referred to it. Job interviews, relationships, talking to other people. And I've seen so many people that have got promotions. I've been to lots of meetings similar to what Mike's talking about, where people with Toastmaster skills hold the attention and you hear the message. I got lots of opportunities through Toastmasters to MC quite large events, Entrepreneur Gala Awards in 2016. I presented twice at huge AWS conferences from an IT perspective. And that's, and over the years, humour became more and more important, and I realised how much that really helps you get the message across. And sitting in front of 200 CEOs, CIOs, and getting them to laugh, and then delivering the message with passion and humour, they're eating out of your hand. And it's such a great feeling. So you can use your Toastmaster skills everywhere.
Can I add to that? When we introduced our new education program, there was a lot of resistance, and I got sent out to sell this program. And I went to one club and they're like this. And I'm like, okay, so I told a story to begin with. And we never know what's going to happen to us in life. And my neighbours had a daughter born with cystic fibrosis, and their entire life changed to advocacy. You know, they wanted to get this new wonder drug for kids with cystic fibrosis. They had to do fundraising. They had to run big balls and fundraisers. We never know when we're going to have to step up for someone or speak for someone, and it's not talked about a lot in Toastmasters, but we do high performance leadership projects. At the end of certain levels, we get to do a project, and we can make substantial differences. And when people are in the middle of grief, they've lost a child, or they don't know how to get out of that, we can be that voice that says, we can help you organise that benefit, we can help you raise some money, because we've got leadership skills, and we can speak, we can advertise. We learn so many skills in Toastmasters, and I think it's probably not talked about enough that that's one of the places where you shine. You can just take the lead and help people to do something they can't do on their own. We've got the skills.
And just to add, it doesn't matter what level you're starting at. Everyone I see come through Toastmasters come out better than when they started.
100%.
If I can make a comment, Rebecca, one last one. On that very point, for our guests, nobody fails in Toastmasters. There's no school terms and there's no exams. You yourself will mark yourself. In 6 months you'll feel so much better, you'll take yourself. That's what our Toastmasters is about. Okay, I'll say one more thing. Okay, my thrill today is speaking to the checkout chick in Woolies. Because I'm standing in line, no one talks to them. I go and talk to them, smile on their face, and they're wishing to have a exchange with a human being.
Security to aisle 3.
Me? Little punk this big? No, I'm not doing it. Thanks. But you know what I mean? I get a thrill out of talking. It's an example to the checkout chick. When I'm in the bus, hard to catch a bus. Did it 2 weeks ago. I'm sitting near the driver. I talk to the driver. Just not constantly. I just introduce myself and I acknowledge his existence. Toastmasters have led me to open dialogue. Thank you.
Thank you. I'd like now to open the floor to some people who has got a question. Yes,
Oh,
please.
no.
Yes. Do you think that you grow an extra leg in Toastmasters when you step up to that next level? So basically what I'm saying here is that we have clubs, we have like 4 or 5 clubs in an area, and we have an area director for those 4 or 5 clubs. Then that area is one of 4 or 5 areas in the division. So you sort of go up to an area director, then you go to the division director, like Gabriella is this year, and then you can go up even higher, and they even give you a crown when you get up real high. But would you say that going to that next level, you grow an extra leg in Toastmasters?
Did you say an extra leg or an extra level?
An extra leg, sorry.
Oh, that Jake did. Some people look at that.
I
I
don't
know,
understand the
Jake,
extra
Jake,
like
Jake,
question.
Extra leg meaning
What do you mean?
extra.
It takes you to a new level.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yes.
when you're in your clubs, you
Yeah.
get to a certain point, but when you start mixing with other clubs, you go and visiting other clubs in particular,
Yeah. Just for people with English as a second language, we don't actually grow another leg.
Thank you for that explanation. So I had to ask to understand what exactly that means. But yeah, so The answer is yes, certainly, because not only you get to see different clubs, you can do that as a regular Toastmaster. Nothing is stopping you from visiting other clubs. You can just go to club next door as much as you please. That's fine.
To Picnic Point or Riverwood, for example.
Yes, thank you very much.
Or the Saints down at Densehurst.
Yeah.
Easy.
But I think the word responsibility is not the right word, but you know, having a little bit more, I will use that anyway, responsibility around the running of the clubs and running of the areas does give you a little bit of different insight. And also you get to see the insight from the top down, like what the you know, the people above, you know, the higher ups with the crowns, you know, what are their concerns, what is their focus. So you do get to grow extra level for sure. I would definitely recommend anybody who hasn't tried to be an area director yet, or who has been an area director, to go and think about being a division director, because it's definitely an experience that will grow you. Not the extra but grow you as a person. So yeah.
And I'll just add to that. So I think the context of that is getting in that position, you're developing new skills, you're growing confidence at leading people at different levels. And that's synonymous with getting a promotion at work where you get more responsibility. So you get more responsibility as you move up. So you're getting that as part of the very inexpensive Toastmaster. You're getting this hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of training about being a manager at the next level.
Yeah. Yeah.
Can I just add something too? And we're managing volunteers. No one, we can't boss people around saying, you're going to do this and you're going to do that. You're learning to get the best out of people to volunteer.
Who aren't being paid to do it.
Do you know what I mean? I think it's harder to get people to do something without, they're not being paid. So the motivational skills that you learn, giving people an incentive that's not monetary, but it's personal to grow and develop. I think we forget sometimes we manage volunteers. It's much harder, I believe.
I have to disagree. It's different.
Okay,
It's
different. maybe is a better
different,
word,
but
yeah.
I wouldn't say harder, because
No.
the good thing about being in the organization like Toastmasters, even though you are managing volunteers, you have the same goal and the same purpose. At work, most people have the purpose of getting the salary. You rarely get that buy-in, but you have that buy-in, so that's an advantage. But
Yeah, I see
you
what
are,
you mean.
but there are disadvantages in being
Yeah,
a
bit of both.
Yeah, bit of both.
Gabby works in the government, obviously.
Okay, we have other people who has got questions. Eddie, yes?
Does the club cater to different experience levels?
Yes, all our clubs cater to different experience levels. There are some clubs that are a bit more advanced, and so that might not be suitable, but most of our community clubs really cater to all levels. You know, they do all the basic things, they do some advanced things, and you learn, even as a beginner or first timer, observing the more advanced things that happen in each club.
And I think when you have something like table topics, the more experienced Toastmasters generally are aware that they need to phrase their questions so that for people who are completely new, so that you don't ask them, something about politics or something highly complicated. For a completely new person, you might just ask, what are your hobbies, or what do you do on a weekend? Something like that. The thing is not to make things complicated for people, but to encourage them to grow and be in their comfort level.
Anyone else?
Yeah, I have a spontaneous question here given to me by Rebecca. But it's a good question. What opportunities are there for leadership development? I mean, you've covered a lot of it, but there might be something there.
Yeah, I can answer that question.
Thank you.
So leadership starts from giving a feedback, the thing that Louis has demonstrated with Tom's speech. That's the first step in the leadership, giving somebody a feedback on their speech or on any role that they are performing. That's the basic thing that everybody in Toastmasters will have as an opportunity. Then there is opportunity coming in running the club, because the clubs, they don't run themselves, somebody has to organize. It's the president, secretary, and so on. So in the leadership team of the club, that's a next level opportunity. Then as Chris said, the clubs are also organized into areas, and then higher up division, so so you can grow in a more and more leadership opportunities. But the basic one comes to every single member of Toastmasters, and that's on the club level that you get to develop your the leadership there. Yes.
And that goes to an international level. So if
Yeah.
you end up leading District 70, which we're in, you end up in the top 3 positions. Twice a year you go overseas to train. So Toastmasters International puts on overseas training twice a year. There's a convention where people can go as well. It's not just internal training in District 70. When you get up to the highest levels, you are actually mixing with other people in your region. We're in the Asian sort of region, so you might go to Bangkok or somewhere like that. One of our trio couldn't go to the local training, so she contacted TI and they said, well, you're in India, go over to Mumbai and train over there. So she got to train with all these new leaders from another part of the world. So it's a great place to exchange ideas. It's a very, very global organisation. Whilst we focus on here, we are part of a worldwide leadership organisation.
And if I can add to what Louise said, the leadership opportunities, it doesn't mean that, so there is a training and structure to it. So, and higher you go, the training goes all the way to international training. So yeah.
Okay, any other?
Any other
Yeah,
random questions?
Yeah,
what kind of advice would you give to somebody that's considering joining or thinking about their Toastmasters journey starting out?
Hang on, I'll just get a membership form for you. Yes, do it today. It's better to just start and do it. You won't regret it.
If I could go back and be 18, and one thing I would do differently is I would join Toastmasters. I didn't join till I was 46, I think I was. What did you do the math, everyone? I was 46 and I had no idea what I could do. I was brought up in a house where I was told children should be seen and not heard. I wasn't overly confident. So I have a very different story. In a similar way to you, I came with a different reason. My husband walked out on me. I'd been married for 22 years and one day I got the I'm leaving speech. And my entire world, everything I built up, I just was crushed beyond anything. And this is a true story. It's very embarrassing. I must have been reading like teenage girls magazines. He was still in the house. And I read this magazine that said, go out, make him wonder where you're going. He couldn't care less where I went. But I turned up, I thought, well, someone said Toastmasters was good. And it's a true story. I had one foot in the door, and it was 9 weeks after the bombshell, and I was crying, and I thought, I can't do this. And I turned around to go, and a lady who I will forever be grateful for, Margaret McMillan, put a hand on my shoulder, and she said, don't go, we'll look after you. I cried. True story. Every meeting, I cried for 6 months at Ingleburn Toastmasters, and they put up with me and they loved me back into being. And I would say to people, don't wait, and don't leave early. There's 2 things I would say to them: join and stay, because some people come after a year, they think they've got a lot of basics and they leave. The biggest goal in Toastmasters is staying in the organisation and doing as much as you can to become a well-rounded leader, speaker, but more importantly, I think you become a better person. I truly think if you work the program, you just become a better person as well, and happier, and you have just such a cross-section of people in your life. So I seriously, from the bottom of my heart, I would say do it. Join and stay. That's the other proviso for me. Stay as long as you can.
And the other thing is you learn a lot about life, people, society, because the speeches that other members get is just gold.
Yeah, I'm really moved by your story. I have never heard a story like that. And I can feel like me, I can feel the passion that it's changed you and helped you from a really deep space. And
Absolutely. My wife was involved in the accident. She
was the driver.
You comedians. I was the driver, unfortunately, but I won't go into the accident. But we both got referred by our great GP, and she also just grew so much. She left she was a Toastmaster for a good 10 years. So it did us wonder. Can I ask? You're going to ask one more question. Can I give a question to you to ask me? The question is, one single thing that benefited me in Toastmasters? Can you ask that question, please?
What's one single thing that benefited you in Toastmasters?
What a great ad hoc question.
I asked you that question already, right?
Can I answer that question?
Yeah, answer the question.
I'm only kidding. Impromptu speaking. That word wasn't mentioned in table topics. Impromptu speaking is what Toastmasters calls table topics. When you say table topics to guests, what's that? Well, it's impromptu speaking. One single skill that I'd give all the other skills, leadership, speech drafting, structure, all impromptu speaking. The checkout chicken Coles benefits from me speaking impromptu, or Channel 7 reporter jumps out of Martin Place and shoves a mic in my face. I'm not a babbling idiot. I'll probably not make the news because my answer would be terribly politically correct, but I can answer a question confidently, effectively, blah, blah, blah. Thank you for giving me that last step.
Okay, the last one.
Yeah.
How supportive is the feedback system? I know.
Good question.
So basically, good feedback should always follow the same format in Toastmasters. Genuine praise, not whitewashing. I'm not going to go and tell someone they're the world champion if they're not. We look for what's good in people, and sometimes it's just that they've got like, oh, there he is down the back, getting up tonight and speaking in a big event, you know, praising the courage they take.
You know, you should
We
do
look
this
for
and
what's
you
right.
didn't do that.
I suggest, I'd like to see, I wonder if this would work, and then we should finish on praise. So I was taught it's like a praise sandwich. First slice of bread's pretty big, the suggestions in the middle, and there's one more slice of praise to finish it. When you finish getting feedback in Toastmasters, you should want to get up and speak again. You should feel so like, okay, I bring these skills, I could work on that, I'm going to get back and do it again. And it's a proven way, because number one, it makes you receptive to feedback. If I get up and I said, oh, you speak too fast and you don't do this and I didn't understand that, you just switch off. So that's the proven Toastmasters way of evaluating praise, suggestions, praise. And we train ourselves, we should be training always when we start, even though it's hard to find things. That training that we get to look for suggestions, it piques our skill for looking for what's right with people, but it also makes us better speakers, and it's often missed in Toastmasters that the better you become as an evaluator, the better you become as a speaker, because you start educating yourself. How can I help people stop saying no? How can I make this sentence, how can I make this speech have a better structure? The better evaluator you become, your speaking improves alongside it, generally.
And I'll just go to that. And then experienced Toastmasters can't help themselves, so we're helping people all over the place. And I'll give you one example. I actually had this conversation today. Last week, an IT architect where I work, he had to do this walkthrough meeting of the project that we have. And he had that many ums and ahs. He's quite an intelligent guy, but he didn't sound intelligent. He didn't sound confident. So I pulled him aside today and said, you did a great job. I did notice these things, you know, in my experience in Toastmaster tells me this, this and this. I want to help you if you're interested in this feedback. And he was, yeah, and I started to talk to him about Toastmasters as well. But he's keen, he's going to go away and listen to the recording of that meeting to see. And he went away feeling better and, you know, happy that someone took the time to try and help him.
I think it's really important for people who are new. The thing I love about Toastmasters is we don't have like cookie cutters. We don't, you know, when you make biscuits and they're all cut the same way, and that's the beauty of this program. We all do the same things. We do table topics and prepared speeches, but we choose our subjects. We find our passions and how to present them, but we don't squash people's personality. I think what we do is unearth it. We give people the confidence. You know, David probably would never have considered stand-up years ago, but this program gives you the confidence to do different things, and that's something I love about it. Even though we do we have a lot of regulations and rules, yes, but that structure allows you to be yourself, your best version of yourself.
Thank you. Are there any other questions? No? Okay.
But just one thing I would like, we haven't mentioned competitions.
Yeah.
So we also have speaking competitions, and they are another way to test yourself. And the lessons you learn in that, refining a speech and going to high levels is also invaluable, and that can go to international level as well.
No other question? Good. Okay. Thank you very much for your panelists. I'll see you later.
So
But
30
not
minutes, 30 minutes as opposed to planned 10 minutes.
30 minutes.
We
Wait.
talk too much.
I want to give you some thank you things.
Thank you. You're such a sweet.
Very kind, thank you.
Thank you very much. Very sweet.
It's just very small.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, and let's give them a big hand of applause.